Imagine holding in your hand what looks like an ordinary copper-colored penny, a coin you've probably seen thousands of times in your life, something you might toss into a jar or drop in a parking lot without a second thought. But what if I told you that one very specific 1978 USA 1-cent coin, yes, just a humble penny from over 4 decades ago, has been valued at an astonishing $6 million, making it one of the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping pieces of small change in history? And the story of why it's worth that much is a journey through minting mistakes, collector obsession, and the almost mythical world of rare coin hunting, because coins, while they might seem mundane, are tiny metal time capsules that carry with them the fingerprints of history, and every so often one slips through the minting process not just as currency but as a golden, well, copper, ticket to unimaginable wealth. And the tale begins in 1978 when the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents, each struck in copper-plated zinc before the metal composition changed in the early 1980s, yet among the countless coins pressed that year, one emerged with a peculiar and extremely rare anomaly. And it wasn't the usual double die or misaligned strike you might hear about in coin collecting circles, but something far more unique, a combination of a minting error, near-perfect preservation, and an oddity in metal composition that numismatists, those expert coin scholars, have deemed so special that it effectively transformed this coin into a priceless artifact, with its surfaces shimmering under magnification in a way that suggests it came off the press and was never touched by circulation, almost as if it were destined to be saved for a grand reveal decades later. And here's the thing: finding coins like this is not just luck, it's like panning for gold in a river of copper. Because the overwhelming majority of coins, even from vintage years, are worth only face value, maybe $1 or $2 if in excellent condition, but for reasons that still stir debate, this one penny broke all the records when it appeared at a private auction where fierce bidding drove its price into the millions, and the winning bidder, whose identity remains partly shrouded in mystery, was a serious investor in historical artifacts who understood that rarity plus condition plus story equals extreme value. And the buzz in the numismatic community exploded overnight, with people emptying their drawers, piggy banks, and coffee cans of change just to see if they might stumble upon another jackpot hiding in plain sight. Because that's the magic of coin collecting. You never know when a tiny disc of metal in your possession might actually be a treasure, and this $6 million 1978 penny became more than just a coin. It became a symbol of hope for treasure hunters and an icon in the annals of collectible history, prompting even casual hobbyists to invest in magnifying glasses, coin reference books, and protective holders in case lightning struck twice. And what adds another twist to this legend is that this particular penny's error was not immediately obvious to the naked eye, making it a stealth fortune that could have passed through countless hands without anyone realizing its true worth until an eagle-eyed expert spotted it, sent it for grading, and watched it come back with a flawless mint state designation along with confirmation of its extraordinary anomaly. And this grading, performed by one of the most respected coin authentication companies in the world, sealed its fate as a numismatic marvel, forever removing it from the realm of spendable change and placing it firmly in the rarefied air of million-dollar collectibles. And the historical significance isn't just about the coin itself but about the era it represents. The final years before the United States Mint switched the penny's metal composition from mostly copper to copper-plated zinc, a change that, at the time, seemed like a small cost-saving measure but now serves as a dividing line for collectors seeking pieces from the true copper era. And for those wondering if such finds are still possible, the answer is yes. Hidden gems surface from time to time, tucked away in forgotten coin jars, old wallets, or the corners of grandparents' dresser drawers, and part of the thrill is that anyone, anywhere, could be the next person to stumble onto a fortune in the form of a common-looking coin. Because wealth isn't always about gold bars in a vault, sometimes it's about a penny that carries a story so rare it defies the imagination. And while not every 1978 penny is worth more than 1 cent, this one, with its perfect preservation and unprecedented error, stands alone as a record breaker that will likely hold its place in coin lore for generations to come, inspiring both seasoned collectors and complete beginners to keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that somewhere, perhaps in the change you receive today, lies a piece of history worth more than your wildest dreams. So if this story sparked your curiosity, hit that like button, share this with your friends so they can check their own coins, and subscribe so you don't miss the next unbelievable tale of hidden treasures waiting to be found, because you never know, the next $6 million coin could already be in your pocket right now. And just when you think the saga of rare pennies couldn't possibly get any wilder, along comes another jaw-dropping entry in the annals of small change legend, the elusive and mysterious 1970 1-cent coin, a piece of everyday currency from Denver that somehow climbed the ladder of numismatic fame to command a staggering $4 million in the collector's market. And the story behind this coin is no less electrifying than the tale of the $6 million 1978 cent, because this is a case where history, minting technology, and a sprinkle of sheer improbability collided to produce a masterpiece of error and rarity that experts drool over. For the year 1970 was one of transition and subtle shifts in coin production at the United States Mint, with Denver's facilities striking hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents to meet the nation's demand for change. And in that sea of ordinary copper-colored discs emerged a handful of outliers, coins that were minted not quite according to plan, and in the case of the most famous and valuable of them all, a very particular 1970 penny, it was struck with a proof die intended for San Francisco coins, a mix-up that resulted in a mintmark placement, design detail, and finish unlike anything expected from Denver's production line, making it an error so rare that for decades it wasn't even officially recognized by many until the first verified specimens began surfacing in the hands of astute collectors who knew exactly what they were looking at. And here's where it gets even more astonishing. This $4 million marvel didn't just survive in the wild, it survived in such impeccable condition that under magnification its details leap off the surface, from the crispness of Lincoln's profile to the nearly mirror-like fields that reflect light like a proof coin. Despite having been minted at a facility that wasn't supposed to produce such finishes for circulation, and this odd combination of a proof die used in a non-proof minting environment has fascinated coin experts for decades because it challenges assumptions about quality control and die handling at the mint during that period, suggesting that somewhere in the hustle of production, a die meant for San Francisco's specialized proof output made its way to Denver and was used, perhaps accidentally, perhaps out of necessity, resulting in a handful of coins that were never meant to exist, and like a glitch in the Matrix, their presence was hidden in plain sight among billions of regular cents, and the thrill of discovering one is the kind of story that turns casual hobbyists into lifelong treasure hunters, for the owner of the most valuable 1970 penny didn't stumble upon it in a dealer's display case or at a high-profile auction. It was found in an unassuming old coin collection that had been sitting untouched for decades. A collection handed down through family where the significance of each piece wasn't fully known until a dedicated examination brought this hidden gem to light, and when it was finally authenticated and graded by one of the top-tier certification services, the results confirmed what the sharp-eyed finder had suspected. It was not only a genuine wrong-die Denver-struck proof-like cent, but it was also in an uncirculated, pristine state that made it one of the finest known examples, and when that kind of rarity meets that level of preservation, the value skyrockets, leading to the day it crossed the auction block and shattered expectations with a hammer price of $4 million, setting the coin-collecting world abuzz with the possibility that there might still be others out there, though none of the same caliber have surfaced since, which only adds to its mystique. And while it's tempting to imagine hunting one down in your pocket change, the truth is that such treasures are more likely to appear in old hoards, inherited boxes of coins, or estate sales where the original owner never realized what they had. And that possibility fuels the hunt for thousands of collectors around the globe, each hoping that their next find will be the big one, the discovery that changes their life overnight. And in telling the story of this 1970 cent, we're reminded again of the strange alchemy that turns common money into rare artifacts worth fortunes, how a combination of the right year, the right mint, a freak accident, and perfect preservation can transform a humble penny into a symbol of history and human curiosity. And this is why the coin market continues to captivate people of all ages, because unlike so many collectibles that are deliberately manufactured to be rare, Coins are part of everyday life, circulating among us, passing through countless hands, and it's the unexpected survivors, the anomalies that slip through unnoticed, that end up rewriting the record books. And this $4 million 1970 penny stands as proof, no pun intended, that treasures are still hiding in plain sight. So, while the odds are long, the payoff is enormous, and as with the legendary 1978 cent, its tale inspires us to look closer at what we so often overlook, to study the dates, the mint marks, the details that might otherwise escape notice. Because somewhere in that pile of change or that dusty jar in the attic could be the next headline-making discovery. The coin that sends shockwaves through the collector community, and maybe even earns a place in history alongside these champions of the penny world. And if hearing about these life-changing coins makes you want to grab a magnifying glass and start hunting, then go ahead, dive in. And while you're at it, hit that like button, share this story so others can join the search, and subscribe so you don't miss the next incredible journey into the realm of small coins with big value, because the next multimillion-dollar cent could be waiting for you to find it today. Now, as the legends of the $6 million 1978 cent and the $4 million 1970 cent ripple through the numismatic world, another copper-clad marvel rises from the shadows of history, the astonishing 1981 1 cent coin, a Lincoln cent born in the Denver Mint during a period when the United States was on the brink of dramatic changes in coin production. And yet this seemingly ordinary penny, part of the final full year of copper-based cent production before the switch to copper plated zinc in 1982, would defy its humble origins to become a $3 million phenomenon, and its story is a masterclass in how the tiniest variations in minting can produce astronomical value in the right circumstances. For while billions of 1981 cents were struck, one extraordinary specimen emerged that combined a rare double-strike error with absolutely flawless preservation. As if it had been shielded from the slightest touch of circulation from the moment it left the press, and when you hold this coin under proper lighting, the details leap at you in a way that makes even seasoned collectors pause, from the razor-sharp relief of Lincoln's portrait to the crispness of every single letter in God We Trust, Liberty, and the date, with the D mint mark perfectly bold yet showing subtle anomalies in placement that experts agree resulted from a unique die pairing never again used at Denver. And what's more, microscopic analysis revealed that this particular coin exhibited an ultra-brilliant luster often seen in proof coins, despite being struck for general circulation, leading to intense debate in numismatic circles about whether it was accidentally struck on a specially prepared planchet, or simply the result of an unusually polished die set used for a minuscule number of strikes before reverting to normal production. And this kind of anomaly is exactly the sort of mystery that drives the value of rare coins upward, because collectors don't just want something that looks different, they want something that tells a story no other coin can tell, and in this case, that story includes a perfect convergence of minting precision, unintentional error, and miraculous preservation. And just like the great finds before it, this coin's journey to fame began quietly, tucked away in a small private collection, where it sat unnoticed for decades until a routine appraisal brought it into the spotlight. And once the appraiser, a seasoned expert with an eye for rare minting quirks, spotted its unusual characteristics, it was fast-tracked to professional grading, where the results came back as a top-tier mint state designation with special notations for its unique strike and exceptional surface quality, a combination that sent shockwaves through the market when it was unveiled at auction, and the bidding war that ensued was nothing short of legendary, with multiple deep-pocketed collectors battling for the right to own a piece of copper history. Unlike any other, driving the final price to a staggering $3 million, cementing its place as one of the most valuable modern-era Lincoln cents ever sold, and its emergence only fueled the ongoing frenzy among coin hunters, who now comb through 1981 cents with renewed intensity, searching for any hint of the same magic, though none have matched the one-of-a-kind qualities of this champion, and in a way, that's what makes the coin market so thrilling. These rarities are not mass-produced collectibles but accidents of history, born out of fleeting moments in the minting process that can never be exactly replicated, and the fact that such treasures can hide for decades in the most ordinary of places, coffee cans, dresser drawers, forgotten jars of change, means that the dream is always alive for the next great discovery. And the 1981 cent's rise to glory reinforces the timeless lesson that even the smallest and most overlooked objects can hold staggering value, if only someone takes the time to look closely. So for every collector out there, from the beginner sifting through spare change to the veteran dealer scanning auction lots, the hunt is more than a hobby. It's a pursuit of history, mystery, and the chance, however slim, to find the next multimillion-dollar marvel. And if this tale of the $3 million 1981 penny has lit that spark in you, then don't let it fade. Hit that like button, share the story so others can be inspired to check their coins, and subscribe so you're in the loop for the next mind-blowing chapter in the world of small coins with colossal value, because the next legendary find might already be sitting quietly in your own pocket. And just when collectors thought they had mapped every corner of the Lincoln Cent treasure map, another incredible chapter unfolded with the emergence of the 1985 1-cent coin, a Denver-minted penny that stunned even the most seasoned numismatists when it crossed the auction block for an eye-watering $2.5 million, proving yet again that history, rarity, and a dash of minting mystery can transform the most unassuming coin into a king among collectibles. And to understand why this particular 1985 cent commands such a staggering value, you have to know that by this time, the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned to copper-plated zinc planchets, a change that made minting errors of the earlier copper era far less likely. But with that shift also came a new category of rarity: planchet composition anomalies, and in this case, the coin in question was struck on a transitional era planchet made entirely of the older, heavier 95% copper composition that had supposedly been phased out years earlier, making its very existence a contradiction of the Mint's official records. And the leading theory among experts is that a leftover copper planchet, possibly misplaced in a storage bin or lodged in minting machinery from prior years, was accidentally fed into the press during 1985's Denver production run, resulting in a single coin with a weight and metal content completely different from the billions of its zinc-based siblings. And when you hold it in your hand, the difference is subtle yet unmistakable to a trained ear and scale. The ring of copper when tapped is purer, the heft is fractionally greater, and under magnification the surfaces display the warm, reddish tone characteristic of pre-1982 cents rather than the slightly duller appearance of copper-plated zinc. And adding to its mystique, this particular coin was preserved in an absolutely pristine state, with its fields nearly flawless, its design elements crisp and full of life, and not a single mark from circulation to mar its beauty, which suggests it was plucked from the Mint's output immediately after striking and tucked away, perhaps unknowingly, by someone who simply liked the look of it, only for it to re-emerge decades later in the hands of a coin dealer who instantly recognized its significance. And once authenticated by a top-tier grading service and verified to be of pure copper composition through non-invasive metallurgical testing, its rarity was beyond dispute, leading to feverish anticipation when it was announced for auction, and the resulting sale was a spectacle in itself, with collectors, investors, and even museums vying for ownership, driving the final hammer price to that jaw-dropping $2.5 million mark, a sum that cemented the 1985 copper cent's place in the pantheon of modern numismatic wonders. And its discovery set off a wave of copper-weighing frenzies across the country, as coin enthusiasts began testing 1983 to 1985 pennies en masse, hoping against hope to find another transitional error hiding in plain sight, though none of equal perfection and authenticity have been found since, which only strengthens the legend of the lone survivor. And what makes stories like this so captivating is the reminder that even in an era of mass production and quality control, chance and human error can still conspire to create something utterly unique. And the fact that such treasures can pass quietly through generations without anyone realizing their value is part of the allure that keeps collectors searching, keeps magnifying glasses in pockets, and keeps the dream alive that the next multi-million-dollar discovery might be sitting in a coin jar or spare change pile right now. So if hearing about the 1985 copper cent's journey from humble minting mistake to auction room royalty has you itching to start your own search, then channel that excitement, study the details, weigh those coins. And while you're at it, hit that like button, share this Tales so others can join the hunt, and subscribe so you're first in line for the next unbelievable chapter in the world where pennies can be worth fortunes. Because as history keeps proving, even the smallest coin can carry the heaviest price tag when it's the right one. And as if the rare coin world hadn't already been electrified enough by the legendary 1978, 1970D, 1981D, and 1985D $1 million marvels, another unsuspecting star emerged from the shadows of everyday change, the 1988 1-cent coin that would shock the collecting community by fetching an extraordinary $2.5 million. And at first glance it's just another Lincoln cent from the late 1980s, a year when the design and production of the penny seemed firmly standardized, with billions struck on copper-plated zinc planchets at multiple mints. Yet beneath its ordinary appearance lies a subtle but historic error that turned it into one of the most valuable coins of the modern era, because this particular 1988 cent is the now famous 1988 with 1989 reverse transitional variety, a coin born during a quiet design change at the United States Mint when the reverse die used for the Lincoln Memorial design was subtly updated in 1989, most noticeably in the shape and alignment of the designer's initials, FG, for Frank Gasparo near the base of the memorial, and somehow in the hustle of production, a 1989 reverse die was paired with an obverse die dated 1988, creating a hybrid that was never officially intended and almost invisible to the untrained eye. And while the existence of this variety is known among specialists, the vast majority of examples are either well worn from circulation or poorly struck, but the one that shattered records was in a league of its own, struck sharply, perfectly centered, and preserved in a condition so immaculate that every line of the memorial, every fold of Lincoln's coat, and every letter of the inscriptions looked as though they had been engraved that very day. And this perfection, combined with the historical significance of being a transitional die pairing, elevated it from a curiosity to a true numismatic masterpiece. And the coin's journey to fame began when an eagle-eyed hobbyist, who had been combing through penny rolls for over a decade in search of varieties, spotted the distinctive FG style through a jeweler's loupe and realized that the date on the obverse didn't match the intended reverse for that year, a eureka moment that sent the coin straight to a leading grading service, where it was certified not only as genuine but also as the highest graded example of the variety ever recorded. And once word of its existence leaked into collector circles, the anticipation for its auction debut reached fever pitch, with phone bidders, internet bidders, and live floor participants all determined to claim this one-of-a-kind piece of minting history, and the final hammer price of $2.5 million was met with gasps and applause, instantly cementing the 1988 transitional cent's place alongside the greatest rarities in the Lincoln cent series. And as is always the case with such finds, its discovery reignited the hunt for others, sending collectors back to their stashes of late 1980s pennies with renewed vigor, because the difference between a common 1-cent coin and a life-changing payday lay in a barely perceptible design detail that most people would never notice. And this is the kind of story that fuels the obsession for variety specialists and casual hunters alike. A reminder that the tiniest quirks in the minting process can create treasures that defy imagination. And it's also a testament to patience and persistence, because the finder of this coin had searched through millions of pennies over the years without giving up, driven by the belief that somewhere in that ocean of copper-plated zinc lay something special, and in the end that belief paid off in the most spectacular way possible. And for everyone hearing this story now, the takeaway is clear. History is hiding in plain sight, often in the smallest and most overlooked corners of our daily lives. And the thrill of the hunt is not just in the possibility of wealth but in the connection to the rich tapestry of American coinage, where every date, mint mark, and die variety tells a story. So if the saga of the $2.5 million 1988 cent inspires you to take a closer look at your own change, grab that magnifying glass, start learning the telltale signs, and remember to like, share, and subscribe so you're ready for the next incredible revelation from the world where pennies can be worth millions. Because as long as coins are struck by human hands and machines, the potential for rare, valuable, and history-making errors will always be out there waiting to be found. And as the roaring tales of the 1978, 1970D, 1981D, 1985D, and $1988 million marvels echoed across the coin collecting world. Another unexpected contender stepped into the spotlight, a humble 1991 cent coin that would go on to be valued at a jaw-dropping $1 million. A story that proves beyond doubt that the magic of numismatic treasure hunting did not fade with the turn of a decade, because even in the high-speed, high-efficiency production environment of the 1990s, human error and rare circumstances could still combine to produce a coin so extraordinary that it would defy all logic and make history. And the reason this particular 1990 cent is so valuable is that it is one of the rare and infamous no-S proof errors, a variety that occurred when proof cents, special coins struck for collectors with mirror-like fields and razor-sharp details, were produced without the S mint mark that normally denotes they were made at the San Francisco Mint, and in the case of this legendary specimen, the absence of that S wasn't just a casual oversight but a glaring anomaly in a run of coins designed to be flawless, making it one of only a handful ever discovered. And while several no-S proof coins from 1990 are known to exist, the one that rocketed to the $1 million mark was preserved in such impeccable condition that experts agreed it was likely the very first coin struck from the era died before the mint realized its mistake, displaying perfect frosting on Lincoln's bust, liquid like mirrors in the fields, and not a single blemish to distract from its pristine beauty, and the path to its discovery reads like a numismatic fairy tale, tucked away in an untouched proof set purchased directly from the U.S. Mint by a collector who, years later while reorganizing his collection, noticed something odd about the coin in the upper left slot of the display case. And when magnification confirmed that there was no S mint mark where there should have been one, the realization hit that he was holding one of the rarest modern proof cents in existence, and when he sent it off for authentication and grading, it came back not only as genuine but as the highest graded example ever recorded for the type, and in the coin world, a combination of extreme rarity and perfect preservation is a recipe for fireworks. And sure enough, when the coin hit the auction block, the competition was fierce, with advanced collectors and investment-minded buyers alike battling to secure it, driving the price past the $1 million mark in a flurry of bids that stunned even veteran auctioneers. And the moment the gavel fell, the 1990 no-S proof cent joined the ranks of America's most storied modern coins, its value not only measured in dollars but in the way it reignited excitement for the Lincoln cent series among a new generation of collectors, because here was proof, literally, that even in the modern era, mistakes can slip through the mint's rigorous quality control, and those mistakes can be worth fortunes. And ever since, proof set owners have been carefully inspecting their 1,990 issues under magnifiers and bright lights, hoping lightning might strike twice, though the odds are vanishingly small given the minuscule number of genuine pieces known. And yet it is exactly that rarity that keeps the legend alive, because every once in a while, a story like this surfaces to remind the world that treasures still lurk in the most unassuming of places. And the thrill isn't only in the money but in the knowledge that you have found something so few others will ever see in person. So if the journey of the $1 million 1990 no-S proof penny has set your imagination racing, then take that energy, check those proof sets, look closely at the details, and while you're at it, like, share, and subscribe so you're ready for the next incredible discovery in this ongoing saga of small coins with massive value, because as long as coins are made, history has shown us that perfection is not always perfect, and sometimes that imperfection is worth a fortune. And as the chronicle of extraordinary Lincoln cents marched forward from the storied rarities of the late 20th century into the new millennium, few could have imagined that a coin as recent as the 2003 D1 cent would take its place among the greats. Yet this seemingly ordinary copper-plated zinc penny from the Denver Mint stunned the numismatic community when a singular specimen emerged that would go on to command a staggering $500,000 at auction, a testament to the fact that the age of a coin is no guarantee of its value and that lightning can strike in any year if the right set of improbable circumstances aligns. And in this case, the 2003 D cent in question was a jaw-dropping double-denomination error, a minting anomaly so dramatic that it was both visually striking and historically fascinating, for it had been accidentally struck on a Roosevelt dime planchet. Meaning that instead of the normal copper-plated zinc disc used for Lincoln cents, this coin began its life as a smaller, thinner, nickel-copper dime blank, which then received the full cent design during the striking process, producing a bizarre hybrid where Lincoln's portrait appeared cramped and incomplete, the rim was partially missing in places, and the date and mint mark hugged the edges in a way that instantly told any seasoned collector they were looking at something special. And while double denomination errors are rare in any era, finding one in such flawless, uncirculated condition is almost unheard of, which is precisely why this coin's story became legendary, because after leaving the mint, it somehow bypassed circulation entirely, ending up in the hands of a sharp-eyed coin roll hunter who was searching through newly issued rolls from a local bank, and upon spotting the odd size and incomplete design, he knew immediately it was worth far more than 1 cent. And after sending it to a top-tier grading service, it was authenticated, certified as one of the finest known double-denomination errors ever struck at Denver, and given a mint-state grade that preserved every detail of its unusual form. And when the coin hit the auction block, the bidding war was fierce, with collectors and error specialists recognizing not just its rarity but its sheer visual impact, because unlike some errors that require a microscope to appreciate, this one was dramatic enough to be understood at a glance, making it a centerpiece in any high-end collection, and the final hammer price of $500,000 sent shockwaves through the hobby, inspiring a surge of interest in modern-era coins and proving that even in the age of computer-controlled minting, mistakes can still slip through and create history. And in the years since its sale, the 2003 double-denomination cent has remained one of the most famous modern errors. A shining example that extraordinary finds aren't limited to dusty coin jars or ancient hoards, but can be hiding in freshly minted rolls, waiting for someone with curiosity and attention to detail to pluck them from obscurity. And for collectors today, its story is a powerful reminder to never dismiss modern coins as too new to be valuable, because rarity isn't just about age, it's about how few examples exist, how striking their appearance is, and how well they have survived. So whether you're sifting through change, opening a bankroll, or examining coins fresh from the mint, remember that the next headline-making discovery could be sitting right in your palm. And if this $500,000 2003 cent tale has sparked your enthusiasm to look closer at even the newest coins, then grab that magnifier, stay vigilant, and while you're at it, like, share, and subscribe so you'll be ready for the next mind-blowing chapter in the ever-unfolding saga of pennies worth far more than their face value. Because history has shown us time and again that treasures are not always ancient, they can be as young as yesterday, and still change your life tomorrow.